I'm going to want both of you guys' opinion on this and everybody in the chat, because this is one of those infuriating stories that your blood will boil. Your blood will boil. Okay? So this is what I'm calling the clueless municipality of the month, and that municipality is Kenosha, Wisconsin. I got this email from a guy named Anthony. He's from Pie Site FPV. And Wisconsin right now is cold. Very cold. So I'm going to play a video of his experience that he had, and you'll see that he's got like this little clear plastic tent igloo thing that you have to, if you want to be outside in Wisconsin at this time of year, you need extra protection, not just a coat. But let me read a little bit of this. He says, "Hey Ken, been flying drones as a hobby for the past 7 years. Over the last 2 years, I've developed an LLC for operating a drone business. I have my 107 and am fully insured. I was at my local testing spot about to fly and was questioned by an officer. Then I was told I couldn't fly due to an ordinance I've never heard of. So I went down to City Hall, and they have an ordinance for remote control planes and drones for public parks. City Hall did have a permit to fill out. And this is bullshit." Okay? This is, again, you cannot usurp the federales. You can't. As a city, you've got to adhere to the FAA regulations. You can't just say, well, we don't like drones, so no drones. You can't do it. But apparently
all they can do is control the ground. They can't keep me from flying over their land.
Exactly right. So he said the whole ordeal sounds very fishy. I'm pretty hurt because I go out of my way to follow FAA regulations to a T, and flying drones gives me true happiness. I hope the local laws don't take that away from me. So I'm going to play his video. It's about 2 minutes long of his encounter with, now I'm not blaming the police officer in this. I'm just blaming the whole Kenosha city for not being a little bit more aware of the rules. So here it is.
So right now, I'm currently being stopped flying at Tremper parking lot. Got stopped by a cop. They told me I couldn't fly here. Brought out my ID and my FAA license. And she said it's illegal. We're waiting to find out. I told her to call her boss.
Okay, so as far as you having a license, we have no idea. So we're looking further into that part. I did check the state statute and the federal regulations that it does say that if you're doing it for a business, yada yada, you have to follow the FAA regulations and rules, which we don't regulate. The Sheriff's Department and the federal government would regulate that, because the Sheriff's Department gets involved if there's like animals and da-da-da, is all the ruling there. Far as flying drones in the city of Kenosha, I guess they do, you could go down to the municipality and get a permit to fly them in our municipality. So you can go ahead and do that, and then if you have a permit, you can fly it. So my supervisor, when I talked to him, he said until we can find out if that exempts you, what we're at this point we're guessing it doesn't exempt you, because you are required to get a permit to fly. Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. But if you do it for a business, it would be considered a business expense, right?
Sure, I have some of those already.
Right. So that's at this point what we can best gather. So, I mean, yeah.
I'll take off then. I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry about. I mean, it's a lesson learned for both of us. Like, I didn't even know you could get a license to fly one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
I looked up the federal law and the state statute about the regulations on flying that small pilot planes, and I didn't even know that with the drones and the remote control airplanes would be considered under the drones licensing too, and all the regulations. Yep. I knew you couldn't fly them in our municipality. That much I knew. Why and all the other stuff I was not aware of. So I'm a little smarter today.
Me too. All right, take care.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
I think that summed it up at the end. But, you know, he actually did right. You don't want to get up in their face and like, you don't know anything. I know better than you. You know, it's tempting to go off on them. But, boy, that sure is aggravating. Dave, your thoughts?
Walk away. She's got a gun.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the person with the gun makes the rules. But what are people in the chat saying? There was somebody that said they live in Kenosha and they're worried. But I actually had a back and forth with Anthony, and I put him in touch with our buddy that helped out with the Ohio municipality, and they're getting together and writing up some papers, and they're actually going to take some action on this and try to educate them, because that's really what it is. I'm sure there's no real, I can't speak, there might not be any malice with the town. I'm sure it's just a few people in city councils like, no, we're like spying on me, you know, Emma Sue and my 9-piece, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what you do, you know, and they lump all manner of RC together, and they don't know what FPV is. And even if it was a camera drone with a zoom, I mean, just, yes, Dave.
She said about 10 times, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's the moral of the story here.
True.
She don't know the law.
Right. And it is a money grab. It absolutely is. He wrote back and said, of all the times, if you added up all the times that he flew, if he had to buy a permit for each time, that'd be like $5,200 for just this 1 year. So, you know, he's trying to follow the rules. It's just so aggravating.
Got to pay to fly now, huh? Every time you take off?
Because the law is on your side. They can't do that, even though they do. But they are the police, and then the onus will be on you to fight it in court, and then you'd have to set precedent. It's a big expense, and they know it's a big expense for anybody to fight in court, but and they're counting on that. Just like, I don't want to get in a whole other can of worms, just like speeding cameras. You know, they're illegal, at least in Tennessee they are, but they still send out the notices. Once in a while, I'll forget, oh yeah, there's a camera back there, and I'll get a nice pretty picture of my license plate with like, you better pay this or we're going to send you another letter. And then, you know, because nothing in there says we're going to take away your license, we're going to put you in debtor's prison or throw you on the wheel and pull out your fingernails and all this stuff. So just don't pay it. But yeah, so hopefully Anthony can get with my friend and they can work that all out. What are people in the chat saying there, Kelly?
It's kind of going both ways. A lot of people saying he did the right thing, just walking away. You know, a lot of people saying you got to fight it. You know, he was in the right, she was in the wrong. But you know, what do you do? It's how much do you want to? How much fight do you want to put into this? Is the question.
Yeah, what's easier?
I think you're better walking away and going finding someplace else to fly.
Right. What's easier, fighting it or just finding another place to fly?
Yeah, exactly.
But
try and educate them if you can. But
right.
I wouldn't fight them.
How do you broach that subject? Like, if that was me, I might have been tempted to say something like, well, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to comply with your wishes. But before I leave, would you like me to give you some information?
Put the goggles on them.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. That changes a lot of minds. I don't know if it changed the police minds, but... and it wouldn't be down.
Security rolls up. That's my first step. Is put the goggles on them if you can. If you can get them to wear the
security,
goggles, you can continue flying.
Yes, security guards. Yes, if you want to fly to a location, absolutely. If they're cool like that, once they realize what you're doing, you know, we're not spying. We're just doing acrobatics. But you know, you can't change minds one police officer at a time. It's got to start at city council or, you know.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Yada, yada, you have to follow the FAA regulations and rules, which we don't regulate. Good luck.
Yeah.